For the first day of our ancient Egyptian art project, you're going to need a big piece of paper, an ancient Egyptian art packet, a pencil, and colored pencils. At the end of this video, when your table is called, walk up to the counter and grab your supplies, just like this. Alright, so we're going to start by drawing our Egyptian person. Now in the packet, there are lots of examples that you can pick from. There's a big one over here that you could choose that actually has a grid that shows you the right proportions, or there's a lot of smaller ones over here that you can choose from. Now you might be thinking they look kind of scary, they look like they're going to be really hard to draw, but I promise if you use your observational drawing skills, look for the big shapes first, get those right, and then add those details, it won't be as difficult as you think. So I'm going to start with this one. I'm going to do summoning. Now, since these are teeny tiny, should we draw them teeny tiny on our page? No. We want to draw them big, so they're the main part, the biggest part that you notice first when you look at your page. So you want to make them, pretty big, like almost a foot tall. So I'm going to start by looking at the biggest shapes. Now the one that I notice is this triangle right here. I'm going to start with that. And now we want to make sure we're drawing lightly so that if we make a mistake, we can erase, right? And there you go. Now you can kind of see that my proportions are off a little bit, right? So I think I'm going to go back and I'm going to retry the top part, but it's okay to erase, and it's going to be easy to erase because you drew lightly. Alright, now that looks a little bit more proportional. I might make his head just a little bit bigger, but after you've drawn your person, then you're going to color him in. So before we do that, though, we want to make sure we add some patterns to their clothing, alright? Because ancient Egyptian clothing had some patterns on it, okay? And because it makes it a little bit more interesting. So you can really decide what patterns you want to use. They don't have to look like Egyptian patterns. You can just make them up as you go. This is your time to be creative. Then the next step is to add color. Fill in your whole person with color. Now remember what we talked about in the video before this one, what the different skin colors mean, right? So if you color it more of a reddish tone, that means that they work outside, or if you color it more of a yellowish tone, then that means they were an inside worker. But you can choose whichever you want to do. Coloring, that's all you're going to do for today. Alright, so what you need to do, make sure that you flip it over, write your name, and your class code, which is your grade number, and the first initial of your teacher's name. So, for example, it could be 3B for 3 and Mrs. Bassett. Alright? Then grab some paper for free draw. Once the timer has counted down, start cleaning up and follow the checklist.